welcome, and please join me for a short while. The reasons why I write on moral and political philosophy are both personal and about how I found the world around me over some 50 years. Amongst the personal reasons, I have to count my health as well as the simple fact that I enjoy this kind of problem solving, along with studying interesting and sometimes bizarre ideas. A mixture of autism and at times fatigue meant I could not manage a full-time job, and writing became the answer about what to do. During and after the 1970s, I gradually backed into political philosophy from politics and history. It was only in the 1980s, after years of searching for a theme and experimenting with fiction writing, unsuccessfully I have to say, that I realised just how much overlap there is between political issues and moral or ethical issues. That set me off on the first book, Politics and Morality Under Conflict, and I can still get infuriated about it. But other themes followed on without me planning them. It took me a good while to realise I was departing from the traditional approach in political theory to the relation between politics and morality. That of asking what is the best form of government according to certain principles. Instead, I was talking about issues like nuclear disarmament or nuclear abortion, which are both intensely moral and intensely political, together with the moral claims of political ideologies and their history. Another unplanned feature was I found myself quite naturally moving to a blend of continental philosophy, especially existentialism, and of the Anglo-American analytic variety. It would have been so nice to announce that I was launching a new approach to moral philosophy and politics, etc. But making sense of a strange world and thinking out ideas, and what the hell you're up to, is not so neat as a sales pitch. My second book, Ethics and Radical Freedom, aimed to deal further with implications of all this for ethics as such. I still stand by the argument that contemporary, especially Western society, fits to existentialist ideas on freedom and anxiety, not least because the basic principles we should follow or identify ourselves with are themselves controversial, including politically controversial. Just think of equal treatment, patriotism, welfare, and so on. That's not to say that freedom is a universal condition of humanity, as Sartre implied. Traditional societies are not like that, and modern dictatorships have tried to prevent it occurring. But with our fluid and technically sophisticated modernity, these disturbing freedoms, which many don't want, may well continue. I think they probably will. For me, that sort of historical and pragmatic approach works also because I believe the very idea that you could base ethics and morality on some kind of metaphysics, whether religious or otherwise, is a dangerous mistake. We use metaphysical or conceptual relations all the time, including making calculations with numbers or doing logical thinking. But fortunately or unfortunately, and I'm not sure which, metaphysical relations and the formal proofs we can use to demonstrate them do not provide us with any free handout of values. We are not told by abstract thinking which value judgments, moral, economic or any other, it's permissible for us to make. That is why I would interpret practical reason for ethics not as instructions from moral laws worked out by pure reason, as Kant envisaged, but as about what is practically feasible for living. We just do live in contact with other people and have to have certain standards or valuations and how we behave towards them, which is what ethics and morality are really all about. Those who believe God has given them the clear instruction on that and are prepared to carry them out will believe this is all settled already. as a moral philosopher, I have to consider the rest who may not find the instructions so clear. Consider thou shalt not kill, and just war or abortion. Consider love thy neighbour as thyself, and personal loyalties or communal ties. If we do have to develop our ethics for ourselves, it would be so nice if we could just do that with reasoned deliberation rather than following the latest fad. But any argument that we have to do that leaves one joker in the pack: truth. Those who believe in God normally believe not only that they have been shown the right way to live and behave towards others, but also that what they believe is true. Besides my personal feelings, I can't escape the thought that what we tend to call the scientific notion of truth is the one which can be witnessed by others and the believers themselves. Other notions of truth, based perhaps on commitment or mystical experience, demand more in the way of trust from people other than myself. I suppose it's my whole past experience of following current affairs and listening to people, sure the public would agree with them, if only they weren't so brainwashed by the media or fashion, that has made me feel modern philosophers' attention to truth makes a lot of sense. However, I'm not convinced by any of the regular theories of truth, and over recent years I've ended up posting 4 essays around it on my website. I prefer to think of truth in terms of accurate representation of what's out there, rather than a correspondence to anything. That's so as to avoid the problem of identifying what's out there with what we might be thinking or saying about it, in our languages, of course. But perhaps more important for everyday life is truth's use for combating deception and misunderstanding. In essays 8 and 10 on the website, Narrative, Myth, Lies and Truth and Modern Objective Truth, I argue that saying something is true is essentially a confirmation that you can rely on or trust the source of the information that you may be receiving, a speaker, writer, print or whatever that may be. Similarly, of course, if I say that's wrong, that's untrue, then I'm saying to you the information source is not reliable, not to be trusted. Okay, I accept the claim in so-called deflationist theories of truth that it's true that adds no information to what's already given in whatever the statement may be, but that's not the main point of the concept anyway. The very ideas of misinformation, deception or sheer error, and then checking out for them, help to show the importance of all this for ethics. I say for ethics deliberately. The way I see it, truth is not an ethical or moral principle in itself, but rather its recognition of presences that we have to take account of if we want others to trust us. Kant was not wrong to talk about truth-telling and false premises, but his moral law notion may come into trouble in dealing with nasty difficulties over when it's acceptable to lie or be economical with the truth. Most of us are happy about saving a friend's feelings by not telling her she's terminally ill, for example, but may be uneasy about misleading the public or customers to protect a friend's job. To think of such problems makes it galling to hear people talking as if teaching right and wrong is a simple matter. Moreover, conflicts and priorities are not easily settled whichever ethic or theory you favour. It's not obvious that specified actions are right or wrong, no matter what the circumstances of the case, and in turn it's frequently not obvious which consequences of action demand most attention, especially as it may be impossibly sure about the consequences anyway. Again, we might all agree that honesty, integrity and sincerity The virtues most obviously related to truth-telling are important to us, but how do they rank compared with, say, loyalty and compassion, virtues which can motivate us to lie? Frankly, in a world where moral conflicts are frequently political also, I would say it's downright dangerous to carry on as if we can leave them to philosophers, theologians and so on, without recognising that the public must take some responsibility for what their morals are going to be, rather than just taking moral responsibility. That has been the starting point for my interest in democracy, which I will say more about another time.